Okay, so welcome to the Research Capacity Development Unit at the University of Johannesburg Postgraduate School. My name is Koketso Pila and I will be your moderator for today. Please allow me to start off by thanking all our attendees for taking the time to join us. And most importantly, we would like to thank our presenter, Mr. Matimba Chauke, for his effort with preparing and giving this presentation. Before I officially introduce Mr. Chauke to you, I would like to go over some housekeeping rules and some important information. And so for the housekeeping rules, if you do have questions during the presentation, please raise your hand if you would like to speak, or type your question into the chat box. I will then indicate to the presenter to address your question. And the recording link for this session, as well as the presentation slides, will be uploaded on our Moodle community by the end of the week. And also a feedback survey will be sent out during the session on the chat box. May we please request that you fill the survey out for us to gain some insight on whether this workshop was useful and how we can improve in the future. So without wasting time, I will introduce to you our presenter, Mr. Matimba Chauke, by reading out his bio. So Mr. Matimba Chauke is a registered counselor, registered with the Health Professional Council of South Africa. He is a member of Psychological Society of South Africa. He is also a member of South African Graduate Employers Association. He is currently working at the Center of Psychological Services and Career Development, PsyCAD, at the University of Johannesburg as a coordinator. So without further ado, I will hand over to our presenter, Mr. Matimba Chauke. I will stop sharing the slides and then I will allow Mr. Matimba to share.
Thank you so much, Koketso, for the introduction. And thank you so much for having me today. Just give me a minute to upload my presentation.
No problem.
Today I'll be focusing on building your career opportunities, and becoming recognized in the academic space. I believe that I'll be talking to people who are busy, who are preparing for the corporate world, or who are already in the corporate world. So before I start with my presentation, let me give you this quote by Tony. It says, you don't build your dream. If you don't build your dream, someone will come and make you build their dreams. That's the quote by Tony. And then proceeding to the next slide, these are the most important attributes which you need to have as a graduate, as a student who are busy in the corporate world. Determination is very, very important, consistency and goal-driven, as well as commitment. So these four attributes are very, very important. It's a must to have as a student or as a postgraduate student. And then these are the outcomes of the workshop. At the end of this workshop, you'll be able to realize the importance of doing self-introspection in your career development process. You know, the benefits of doing thorough research in your industry, getting to know your prospective employers or companies, and you'll be able to have an idea with regard to the steps which you need to follow in your career development process, as well as having to know the plan which you need to follow in job searching process or in your journey as a job seeker. And then you'll be able to know how to stay focused in the career development process, as well as knowing how to position yourself in the corporate world or world of work. You will agree with me that majority of you guys, one of your goals is to get or to complete your qualification or your studies in record time and get a good job. But considering the fact that we are faced with unemployment challenge as a country, there are fewer jobs, and we're having a lot of job seekers out there lingering around looking for opportunities. And therefore, it leaves many graduates not knowing what to do with their qualification. You're going to graduate on record time, but at the end of the day, you won't be knowing what to do with that particular qualification. We need to create a society of which is full of job creators than job seekers. And we can do this through imparting our graduates with entrepreneurship skills, which are very, very important in the corporate world, as well as making sure that we make sure that our students are prepared in terms of, or maybe they're having business skills, which should be personal. I feel like it should be a must. Remember that you are not in a competition with anyone. You should be running your own race. You should be focusing on building yourself, because at the end of the day, you'll be a brand which you are going to sell out to corporate world. Academic journey is sort of a survival of the fittest. There are a lot of competitions, and you need to make sure that you are psychologically ready, you are prepared, you have a winning mentality, and you should be your own motivator. Don't rely on external stuff or forces for you to be motivated. Self-motivation is very, very important, because if you don't have self-motivation, even if we can invite maybe international motivational speakers to be with you 24/7, it won't even serve a purpose. So make sure that you are your own motivator, and that will make you keep going. Academic journey it's a process, it's a long process, and that particular process is comprised of organized steps which you need to follow as a student. And in that particular journey, you are likely to encounter a lot of challenges. It could be academic or personal challenges. So you should be in a position to know how to deal with those challenges. I spoke about the challenges. I also want to indicate that that particular journey is full of learning opportunities. It's very, very advisable to take it as a learning curve. Just allow the process to groom you. And you need to take each and every challenge as a learning curve. They always say that, experience is the best teacher. So experience is very, very important as a student. Make sure that when you are busy with your academic journey, you need to acquire some experiences which can make you stand out from the rest. This journey is comprised of, career decisions. You will be expected to make career decisions in your journey, and it's advisable to consult so that you'll be able to make some career decisions which are good. You should be consulting with people who already went through the same process, who has experience, who has been in your shoes before. You should be guided by what we call career plans and career goals as well. Because if you don't have career goals, you won't even have sense of direction. You won't be able to trace even the progress towards your academic goals as a student. So having career goals and having plans is very, very important in your journey. You should be having a clear strategy which you will be utilizing in your journey. You should be very strategic. Remember that you are competing with a lot of students from different universities. For you to stand out, you need to have a clear strategy which you should be implementing so that you do well academically, and at the end of the day, you'll be able to get a job. This journey requires preparation, planning, and perseverance. These are, the three attributes which are very, very important for you to succeed, for you to do well in your academic journey. You need those three attributes: preparation, planning, and perseverance. There are traits or personality traits which are very, very important, which is a must to have as a student. The first one is self-awareness, having a better understanding of who you are as an individual. And as a result, you'll be able to know how to position yourself in the corporate world. Having a clear sense of worth, it's very important. You should know your value as a student. Having some planning skills, a clear planning strategy, it's very important. And you should be able to know how to market or to sell yourself out there. And you need to have a good attitude, a positive attitude, and a winning mentality as well. There are steps which you need to follow as an individual during your academic journey as a student. The first one is we are going to explain or maybe give you more information with regard to how to approach the first step, which is self-awareness. When it comes to self-awareness, you should be having a better understanding of who you are. These are some of the things which you should be looking at: your interest as well, the career and personal goals, which are very important. You should be having a better understanding of your strengths and your weaknesses. And you should also reflect on your professional skills which you have acquired as an individual. Because the moment you know some of the professional skills and soft skills which you have acquired, you will be in a better position to sell yourself, and as a result, you'll be able to stand out from the rest. Having a better understanding of your culture, your norms and values is very important as well, because after you shall have known who you are, where you're coming from, your culture, it will be easy for you to position yourself in the corporate world, and you are going to fit very well. Then personal situations and circumstances as well. You should be reflecting on your personal and circumstances, challenges which you have encountered, and make sure that you intervene as soon as possible before it interfere with your academic journey, before it interfere with your professional development as a student. You should also reflect on your achievements as well, because normally when you reflect on your achievements in a positive way, you are likely to get sort of motivation, which will keep you going as an individual. Also reflect on your failures as well, obstacles and challenges, and perceive them as a learning curve, and go and improve on those areas which you were not doing well. Personal drivers and motivation as well. You need to make sure that you have self-motivation, as I've indicated earlier on, to say you should be having self-motivation because it will keep you going. Even though you encounter some challenges, that self-motivation is going to be a foundation, and it will keep you going. And it's advisable to know the content of your qualification as well, because sometimes if you don't know the content of your qualification, it's going to be very difficult for you to sell yourself out there. So having a better sense of what you did, what you have studied, you will be in a better position to, tell the recruiters or the employers what you have studied and the value which you are going to add in the corporate world. Then we are going to proceed to the next one, which is planning and professional development. This is very, very important. You need to have a clear plan with regard to your professional, with regard to your career development, with regard to your job searching journey. You don't just wake up in the morning and you start lingering around looking for opportunities and so forth, but you need to have a plan which will be guiding you throughout to say, okay, this is where I'm going to start and this is how I'm going to start with my career journey or job search process. You should decide whether you want to be in a private sector or public sector, and as well as you should decide if ever you want to be an employer or an employee. It's very, very important. And as well as, you need to have a better understanding of, what they're looking for, in terms of the attribute, the employers or the recruiters. You should be having the list of the attribute or the qualities which they are needed in your field of study. You should be having a list of all your prospective employers as well. This will assist you, because the moment you have the list of your prospective employers, you will be able to follow them in social, on social media platforms as well, because I believe that majority of the companies these days are on social media platforms because we're in a digital era. The moment you follow them on social media platforms, they will keep you posted with regard to the opportunities which they will be having, and you will be able to apply or to send your CVs. You need to also have a time frame for your job search process as well, because without having a time frame, you will just relax and you won't be having something which will be guiding you to check how far you are with regard to your career plans, your career goals. Another thing which I need to remind you is that failing to plan is like planning to fail. It's advisable to have a clear plan which you will be able to follow. It should be clear and easy to follow. Then proceeding to the next step, which is research and networking. Since the university is preparing you to be a professional person, what you need to do is to do a sort of research with your prospective employers. After you shall have created a list of your prospective employers, now you do a thorough research with regard to what they're offering, with regard to their services, and you establish that professional relationship with these particular companies. You should be knowing their services, which I've indicated. You should be knowing their mission statement and their philosophy, which is very, very important, because after you shall have done some research, it will be easy for you to know how to position yourself in that particular organization. What you need to know is that companies could be offering same services, but how they do their stuff, how they, the culture differ from, one company to another. So doing some research will assist you and you'll be able to position yourself very well. Then moving on to, you need to check the job description as well. Some students, they just apply without even checking the job description. It's advisable to have a better sense of what they're looking for, so that at the end of the day, you'll be able to reply or respond to that particular advert. And sometimes it's advisable to check, the salary as well, because some students will say, I haven't seen the salary. Sometimes the salary won't be there on the job advert, but it's your responsibility as a student to call the employer or the recruiter and ask with regard to the salary as well. You can even check with regard to the career advancement opportunities as well, the career growth, and so forth. You should also do some research with regard to the work environment as well, whether the environment is conducive for professional growth and so forth. Now we are moving to the benefits of doing research. Why do you do research on these particular companies? The moment you have a better sense of a certain company, it increases the job search confidence. It boosts your confidence as a job seeker, as a student, and it increases control over the job search as well as, with regard to decision-making ability, because you'll be having more information, meaning in terms of making a decision to say, this is what I want, it's going to be very easy for you because you shall have received all the information which you want as a job seeker. It increases potential for job search success. It also increases employment satisfaction, as well as the economic security. Why do we do research at all? You gain the information you need so that you'll be able to make an informed decision. You allow yourself to apply for a specific job based on facts and not on feelings. The information you gain can be used during your interview with the employer, because sometimes some of the questions which will be asked during the interviews, they are going to emanate from that particular job advert or the information which you shall have received. And then moving on to step 4, which is work on your job search skills. You need to reflect on your job search skills as an individual, because some students, they will say, I've been looking for opportunities, I've been looking for jobs with no success, but they don't reflect on their job search skills. Since we're in a digital era, what you need to do is to make sure that you follow them on different social media platforms, get more information with regard to these particular companies, because majority of the companies, they no longer advertise on Sunday newspapers, but they advertise on their websites, on their social media platforms. So what you need to do is to follow them so that you'll be updated. And sometimes paying a visit, like you should not hesitate to pay them a visit just to go and inquire about the opportunities which they could be having. It's also advisable to do that, and sending them an email. Let's say maybe you haven't seen an opportunity on their website, as long as that particular company it's within it's part of your the list which I've spoken about, the list of your prospective employers. You may even send them an email and check with them if ever they will be having maybe opportunities in future. Sometimes you can even attach your CVs and so forth. When they have something, they will get back to you. Make sure that your CV is ready. And before you send it out, you should get someone, a professional person, to go through it, as someone who has better understanding with regard to, the corporate world, the expectations from recruiters and so forth. And make sure that your cover letter is ready as well. And you also work on your interviewing skills as well. The interview skills is very, very important, because sometimes you could be having a relevant qualification, a qualification which is in demand, but you find that you are lacking in terms of interview skills. So it's about the time to work on that particular area so that you'll be able to stand out from the rest. And sometimes doing role play, you can get one of your classmates, you identify a certain job advert, you try to formulate some questions and you do sort of role play so that you can have a better understanding with regard to answering questions and so forth. And let's say maybe you were once called for a certain interview, it's advisable to request for a detailed, report or maybe feedback from these employers or recruiters. And then from there, you are going to work on those areas which are not doing well, which is part of your professional development as a student. These are some of the questions which you need to ask yourself. And it's very, very important to know where you should be starting as a student and how you should be starting as a student and when you should be starting. Because majority of the students, more special postgraduate students, they will be focusing on their academic journey and forgetting that they are having qualifications. Already they have graduated and they should be acquiring experiences which will make them stand out from the rest. So these are some of the questions which you need to be asking yourself. Have you established a networking, a good network with other professionals in your field of study, in your specialization? You need to have that particular group of people whom you know that these people, when you are called for an interview, they will be in a position to comment with regard to your professional journey, with regard to your professional life. You don't just put, your friends there, but you put people who knows your professional journey, your professional life. We're in a digital era, being on social media platforms is very good. Having a LinkedIn profile, it's very advisable because you'll be able to meet and network with professionals in your field of study. So you should be there on different social media platforms. As long as you utilize those social media platforms in a professional manner. You should be attending the career fairs as well, the recruitment fairs, the company presentations, because that's the corporate, these are the corporate events where you will be engaging with the recruiters or the employers. And if you have some questions, you will be given an opportunity to pose those questions and they will be in a position to assist. Graduate programs as well, those without experience, they should be looking for those graduate programs as well, the internships, the work readiness programs, which will assist you in terms of being prepared for the corporate world. And you should be there on the UJ CareerWise platform as well, because in that particular platform, we're having companies or recruiters, and they normally post their opportunities there. So you'll be in a position to see those opportunities and apply. Then with regard to CV and cover letters as well, if you're not sure about the structure of the CV, you are more than welcome to come to the center and then we'll be in a position to go through it and provide you with feedback so that you'll be able to stand out as well. getting letters of recommendations. Let's say maybe you've once worked on campus from a certain department, you should be requesting for a letter of recommendation so that when you apply for opportunities, you will be able to stand out as well. We have UJ Alumni Network as well. Make sure that you're also part of the group. You exchange information. You will be getting more information, which will make you a better candidate at the end of the day. We have different platforms which you can utilize to network with prospective employers as well. I also spoke about the corporate events which you need to attend as an individual. Sometimes the conferences, academic conferences which you normally attend as in the academic space, exchange numbers. You'll be meeting new people. Remember, each and every person who you meet is like a prospective employer, because you don't know that particular person in totality. What if that particular person knows someone who's likely to hire you? So always be professional when you attend those conferences. Get more information, make sure that you exchange numbers so that you will keep in touch with those people in case you need them in future. We are in a digital era as well. You guys, you have smartphones. You should be doing thorough research about your prospective employers as well. Make sure that you spend most of your time doing research about what they are looking for, the attribute which they want from the best candidate as well. I also spoke about the company visit, that you should not shy to visit the companies. They won't kill you. You are just establishing that professional relationship with these companies. And who knows, maybe on that particular day, the director or the manager is in good mood and they're going to say, what, it's fine. We are going to call you maybe in 2 days' time and so forth. You will never know. So you just try your best. We spoke about attending professional meetings and conferences as well. Those who are on Facebook, they should make sure that they utilize Facebook in a professional manner, because some companies, before they appoint you, they will go through your Facebook page and just to have a better sense of who you are before they appoint you, and as well as making sure that you keep in touch with your former classmates, colleagues, because these people, you will need them in future. Some of them will be part of your references. So don't ever delete or tarnish that particular professional relationship which you have built. This is the template which you should be utilizing in terms of capturing the information from people whom you want them to be part of your network. It's advisable to have their name. It's advisable to have that professional relationship. You should write it down, whether this particular person was a senior to you, or maybe this particular person was a mentor to you or was a teacher to you, and make sure that you have their contact details as well as their physical address or postal address as well. This will assist you. Let's say maybe you once had a mentor who's staying in Free State and you are called for an interview that site. And when you check on your list, there is this other person who's there full time. You'll be in a position to call that particular person, get clarity in terms of the direction, the environment, the work environment, and so forth. So you need to have that particular, keep in touch with those particular people, because you are going to need them in future, basically. And then the next step is keep going. You keep doing follow-up with companies. Let's say maybe you have applied for a certain position and you haven't received any feedback from that particular company or that particular employer. it's advisable to do some follow-up with that particular company. And it's also advisable to, request for feedback if you have attended maybe a certain interview, a detailed feedback, so that you can work on those areas which are not doing well as assessing your job search strategies. If you have been marketing, looking for job opportunities, and it's been 3 years and you are not winning, maybe there is something wrong with your strategies. So what you need to do is to go back to your strategies and see how best you can amend, add some strategies which you think is going to work. You identify ways to improve it, and sometimes you should be checking with people already in the corporate world. If you are doing a masters in LLB, you should be in touch with people who are already in the corporate world. They will be in a position to assist you. They will give you tips with regard to how to stand out, how to survive, how to make it in the corporate world. And sometimes changing your approach, it's advisable. If you feel like, what, this approach which I've been using, it's not working, you should go back to the drawing board and try to change how you do things, and stay positive and focused. I have indicated in my introduction to say that this academic journey, it's survival of the fittest. Sometimes if you're not strong enough, you're likely to, throw a towel, you're likely to give up. But always motivate yourself and always make sure that you are focused, because the moment you lose focus, it's going to delay even your academic journey. It's going to delay, affect as well as your academic performance as a student. And keep fit and stay motivated, and professional development is very, very important. Those who are in their exit point, what they need to do is to identify, some non-academic courses which you think it will add value, which you think it will address some of the areas which are not doing well. You enroll for those courses and make sure that you are well prepared in those areas which you were not doing well. The last step is close the deal. Let's say maybe you have received an offer from a certain company. What you need to do is to check, the job description as well. Those maybe roles and duties which you should be doing as an individual. Check if ever you are in a better position to execute those duties, as well as checking the salary. Because majority of the job seekers, they don't check, the salary, because they will be excited and so forth. But when you officially start with your responsibilities, you may find that maybe the salary which you are getting is not what you expected. You should be also doing some research with regard to, the benefits which they're offering as well. You also check the growth opportunity and the company's culture as well, whether you'll be able to fit in their culture. Check the distance as well, the number of hours which you're expected to work, the size of the company as well. And then from there, you can still negotiate. If you feel like you have more experience, you can still negotiate, and then they will decide. And then you accept that particular offer after you shall have agreed with the employer with regard to the terms and conditions and everything. Career development sphere, these are the questions which you need to ask yourself. Personal and professional development. It's very, very important. I've indicated earlier on that you should be reflecting on your journey as a student. Check if ever there are certain areas which you are not doing well, and you start working on those areas. Sometimes, for instance, let's say maybe you are not good when it comes to communication skill. What you need to do is to attend some sort of workshops so that you can get more tips with regard to how to communicate, how to, express yourself and so forth. And always be prepared. You should be prepared mentally because I've indicated in my introduction to say that jobs are not there anymore. Sometimes if you feel like you're not winning in the corporate world, you can start your own project, you can open your own company and be an employer. There are a lot of supports which you can get from government. There are a lot of supports which you can get from people who are already in the, in business or in the corporate world and so forth. And it shows that you are innovative, you are creative. The moment you start something from the scratch, the moment you have your own company, it shows that you are creative and you have goals which are guiding you as an individual. And we also spoke about networking, which is very, very important. You should know people. When you go to Limpopo, you should be knowing who's there, who's in that particular department. You should be knowing people. It's going to make your life easy because once you know these particular people, you won't be, in terms of introducing yourself, you won't be starting from the scratch because they know who you are. It's the matter of telling them what you have acquired maybe recently, which makes you stand out from the rest. These are with regard to the personal and professional development. You need to ask yourself the following questions. Do I have the appropriate education for the kind of job I'm interested in? This is the question which you need to ask yourself, whether you have the relevant qualification, whether you meet the criteria of the position which you're interested on. And then, do I have the appropriate experience for the kind of job I'm interested in? If you don't have experience, what you need to do is to make sure that you work on that. Get experience so that you will be able to stand out from the rest. Have I attended seminars, events, workshops that will add to my knowledge and expertise? Those are the questions which you should be asking yourself. If you feel like there is a certain area which is lacking, you should attend some seminars, get more information so that you'll be knowledgeable with regard to the area which the company is saying you should be having more information on. Do I belong to at least one professional group? It's very advisable to, register with professional bodies because normally when you are registered with professional bodies, it makes you to stand out and you'll be having, more information with regard to the corporate world. And as a result, since you'll be having more information, more experience, obvious the recruiters will say this particular person is going to add value to the company and you are going to assist them with regard to achieving their strategic objectives, strategic goals, and so forth. Then with regard to preparation, have I identified my key skills and abilities as well as my strengths and weaknesses? In this particular stage, what you need to do is to have a list of your skills, professional skills. And the only way to have a better, to know your skills or professional skills or soft skills which you have acquired throughout your academic journey is to do a sort of reflection. You reflect on the programs, the projects which you once participated in. Check if ever you have acquired some skills which can add value to the corporate world, the skills which can make you stand out from the rest. Because sometimes if you don't do reflection, you are going to struggle in terms of figuring out, the skills which you have as an individual, which makes you stand out from the rest. Do I know exactly the kind of job I want? We spoke about doing a research, having more information, having a good network. It will be easy for you to find out, what that particular job advert entails and so forth. And then when it comes to networking, the first question which you need to ask yourself is that, have I kept in contact with my colleagues, my lecturers, and people in my field? Having a good professional relationship with your lecturers is very, very important, because these people are going to be part of your references. So you need that professional relationship, and you should keep in touch with them. Let's say maybe you have graduated and now you are at home, and you acquire a certain, maybe a non-academic qualification. You should be informing them to say, okay, I've recently acquired this particular qualification, it focus on blah, blah, so that they know. Because sometimes companies will be calling these people just to check with regard to your professional development. And if they don't have such information, they won't be in a position to tell the employers or the recruiters. Have I kept in contact with people I've worked with in the past? Let's say maybe you decide to leave your current workplace or your current employer. You should not delete those numbers. You should keep them, because one day you will need these people. Let's say maybe in your CV, you have indicated that you once worked in a certain company. They will need someone from that particular company to say something about your professional life and so forth. So deleting those numbers is not advisable at all. Have I attended professional industry seminars or made contact with leaders in my field? This is the question which you need to, the third question which you need to ask yourself. Normally when you attend conferences and so forth, you should make sure that you are in touch with this particular, you establish that particular relationship. Make sure that they know you better. Tell them what you are doing as an individual, and always don't forget to tell them that you are even looking for opportunities, because there are graduates out there and they don't have jobs. But normally when they introduce themselves, they don't tell people that they're not working or they're looking for opportunities. Because sometimes if you don't tell people, they will just assume that everything is sorted and you are working and you are happy. So in your introduction, it's advisable to let them know that you are looking for a job. That's part of marketing strategies which you need to adopt as a student. Have I introduced myself to others at social and business functions as well? Meaning the issue of introducing yourself to people out there, it should be one of your goals. Let's say maybe you attend a certain corporate events and you have been introduced yourself. You should feel bad about that, because once it's your goal, once you put it as your goal, you need to make sure that you achieve it almost every time. And then, how do you stand out in the academic space? Having a strong passion on what you are doing, your research topic, is very, very important. Because sometimes if you don't have strong passion with regard to what you are doing as an individual, you will feel discouraged. You won't even have that energy to consult with your research supervisor, because whatever you're doing is not what you wanted. So develop some passion, so that at the end of the day, you'll be able to excel. You'll be able to position yourself very well in the corporate world, and to keep abreast with the new development in your field of study. It's very, very advisable. Having that particular qualification alone, it's not enough. You need to make sure that you keep yourself abreast with the new development, because things keeps on changing and so forth. So you need to make sure that you are well informed. And sometimes you can even do what we call non-academic courses as well, so that you will be having additional skills in your field of study. Identify your weak points and start working on them as well, which I've spoken about earlier on. To say you need to identify your weak points and you start working on them. Let's say maybe you're struggling with presentations, during conferences and so forth. That should be on your list to say, okay, this year I'm going to work on this particular area which I'm not doing well, so that you'll be able to do well in your studies. You'll be able to stand out, since you will be having that particular skill, which is very important. Then having a mentor to guide you in your academic journey is very important. You need someone who has been in your shoes before. You need someone who knows how it feels to be in that academic journey. Someone who's going to take you through. Someone who's going to share his or her experiences with you. And as a result, it will even change how you see things and how you do things. Present during conferences and make sure that you publish more articles. For you to stand out, for you to be recognized in the academic space, is to do presentations, present during conferences. Make sure that, people should know you. And after, you shall have presented, let's say maybe you have managed to take some pictures, go and upload those pictures on different social media platforms. That's the only way you will be recognized, and it's part of selling yourself, it's part of selling your skills and so forth. And you should be having an outgoing personality and willingness to learn. We learn almost every day. We learn almost every day. The reason we are better people today is because of what we were doing yesterday or 2 days back. That exposure, it's very, very important, because it changes how we do things, it changes how we view things and so forth. And think outside the box. In this, we need people who are very creative. We need people who are very innovative. And we need people who are well informed when it comes to, people who are knowledgeable when it comes to, technological things, softwares and so forth. Understand that, even if you were born before technology, but we need to make sure that when it comes to technological things, you are well grounded and you have more knowledge, so that you'll be able to fit very well in the corporate world. Taking up working projects as well. Experience is the best teacher. You need to make sure that you participate in programs, projects. It's either on campus or off campus, so that you will have that particular experience which companies need. We also spoke about forming and sustaining professional relationships as well, which is important, for you to stand out from the rest. Because normally, if you have good reference, people talk good things about you, you are likely to stand out, because, unlike if people, they say bad things about you, because that's tarnish your name and it decreases the chances of you being absorbed or being taken by a certain company. The value of having a career mentor. Why do we need to have this particular person in our life, a professional person in our life? Their worth of knowledge and advice. I've indicated that these people has been in your shoes and they know how it feels. So having them around you will make you stand out from the rest, and you will be able to do well. And even the decisions which you are going to make as an individual, it will show that you have been advised by someone who knows that particular journey which you are in. The mentors help you to discover opportunities. These people have been in the industry. They know, people are likely to hire you. They know people who are likely to, groom you as a student. And as a result, you'll be able to, discover those opportunities, and you are going to learn a lot. They can prepare you for the interview because they're in the same field as yours. Let's say maybe you're called for an interview. They will be in a position to assist, to shed some light with regard to what you need to expect from the employers or the recruiters. And they can even assist you with regard to, career goals formulation as well. Because sometimes you will formulate career goals which are not even measurable, career goals which are not even attainable. So, but these people, because of their experiences, they will be in a position to say, okay, if you want to be here in 5 years' time, if you want to see yourself doing well in 5 years' time, these are some of the things which you need to do. These are the goals which you need to have as an individual. And this is how you're going to, trace, the progress in terms of your goals. And sometimes they will even provide emotional support because, in the academic journey, you encounter challenges. It could be personal, academics, which I've spoken about earlier on. So these people will be there in terms of, emotional support. Because for you to be productive, for you to excel and do well academically, you should be supported emotionally. They care about your success. All they want to see is you succeeding, you doing well in your field. And then you'll be having a lifelong friendship, professional friendship with these particular people. Planning your career in the academic space, it's very, very important to understand where you are. Because sometimes if you don't understand where you are, it's going to be very difficult to know where you want to be in 5 years' time. For you to create that particular picture of you in 5 years' time, you should be knowing your position, your current position. And you'll be able to decide where you want to take your life to, where you have to be in 5 years' time. Reflect on what you like most or what you want to do. It's very, very important because sometimes the moment you know what you like to do as an individual, it will be easy to decide if you want to be an employer, an employee, or if you want to start your own business and so forth. Start with you knowing what you like to do with your qualification. Reflect on what you want from your career as well. It's very, very advisable to reflect on what you want, so that you'll be able to position yourself, you'll be able to plan accordingly after you shall have known what you want from your career. Identify your skills and build on them, which we spoke about. Have a short-term and long-term goals in order to get you where you want. Because having goals is very advisable, more especially academic goals, because once you have academic goals, it will give you a sense of direction. You will be motivated because you have goals. Let's say maybe one of your goals is to finish your PhD on record time. Every time when you think of that particular goal, it will give you a sense of direction. you'll be motivated. It will keep you going because you have this particular goal which you have formulated, and you thought about this particular goal. And when you check this particular goal, it's achievable. It's something which you can achieve, and there is a time frame attached to that particular academic goal which you have formulated. Be driven enough to be able to do all the things you need to do and recommit to your goals. Formulating goals, it doesn't end there. You need to commit. Because sometimes you can say, you know what, I want to finish this reading maybe 5 articles today, but if you don't commit to that particular goal which you have formulated, it's not going to happen. So it doesn't end there. You formulate goals, and then from there you commit to say, okay, this is what I want to do, or this is what I want to achieve at the end of the day or at the end of the month. If you are not in the right track, make sure that you make some changes, adjustment necessary to get you there. After you shall have reflected to your academic journey as a student, and you can tell that you are not in the right track, what you need to do is to make some changes, adjustment, and make sure that you remind yourself of those goals which you have formulated as a student. Always ask yourself why you have started. That will motivate you to push harder until you get what you want as a student. It is important that you value learning over money. Sometimes if you focus on money now and you are busy with your studies, you are likely to lose focus. Instead of you allowing the academic process to groom you so that you will be a better person, so that you will be be able to stand out from the rest, and you focus on money, that will affect that journey of yours. So focus on learning, and money will be just a bonus. These are some of the skills which are needed by employers or recruiters. We have indicated that earlier on, that you should be innovative, you should think outside the box, and another one is a leader. You should have leadership skills as well, because companies, they want people who can lead. Sometimes you'll be given a certain team to lead, but if you don't have that experience, how will you lead that particular task team? If you don't have experience in leadership, what you need to do is to do maybe some short course, and when you apply, you are going to attach it. It will be there as a supporting document or supporting, and then you'll be able to stand out from the rest. And you should be competent, and if someone were saying this particular person is competent, is because this particular person has experience. This particular person has been doing these things and he has been failing, and he has perceived that particular failure as a learning curve, and now he's competent, he's a better person, and is doing very well. You should be creative as well. We need fresh ideas. We need people who can think, people who can come up with innovative ways, fresh ideas from varsity, and so forth. And we need people who can adapt to any work environment. You should be someone who can adapt to any work environment, and you should be able to someone who can show initiative. You should be coming with things. Don't wait for the employer to tell you what to do. You can start something as long as you are being guided by their programs, you are being guided by their strategic objectives, their goals, their services, and so forth. You can still come up with something. You should be a team player as well. Majority of the companies encourage teamwork spirit. being a team player is very important in the corporate world. We understand that sometimes you'll be expected to work independently, but majority of the time you will be working with people, and you should be confident enough. These are some of the services which we are offering here at the center, CyCAD. We have different platforms which you can visit as students, so that you will be well informed with regard to career opportunities. You'll be having access to, companies, database, which we have in our career portal. We have more than 500 companies, and they normally post opportunities in that particular platform. Having access to the recruitment guide as well. Companies advertise their staff, their services on that particular platform as well. And we also do career advisory and consultation. Sometimes if you feel like you need to talk to a professional person, you are not sure with regard to what to do after you shall have completed your qualification, you may book for a session and then you come, we assist. And then we also do career assessment and counseling as well. We also run career workshops throughout the year where we focus on CV writing, interview skills, job search strategies, business etiquette, as well as personal branding as well. So you should be attending those workshops as well, so that you get more information with regard to how best you can sell yourself out there. I've indicated earlier on that sometimes you could be having a qualification which is in demand, but you may find that you are struggling with regard to how to sell those skills which you have acquired. And as a result, it will decrease the chances of you being called for an interview. That's the link which you need to utilize in terms of having access to the career portal. That brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much. Now it's time for questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chauke, for that insightful presentation. We really, really learned a lot. I really enjoyed the presentation myself. And I will now open the floor to the attendees to ask their questions. You can either raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat box. It can be a question, it can be a comment, anything that you would like to say. Okay, we have a hand up from Matimo. I will just enable your mic. You can unmute yourself and speak, Matimo.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Chauke, for a wonderful presentation. I learned a lot from it, and it's something that I've been actually looking for, forward to when registering for this session. So I just wanted to, appreciate everything that you have really said. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that comment, Matimo. Definitely, we have learned a lot from this presentation. Anyone else? Okay, we have a hand from Lebogang. You may go ahead and unmute yourself, Lebogang, and speak.
Afternoon. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. Just I don't know if I'd say a suggestion or maybe perhaps I have missed the webinar on that. We have learned a lot from this presentation. Perhaps maybe if we can get a presentation on how to go about presenting in conferences, that would also be helpful, since one of the key what point that we raised is that we need to keep on publishing, go to conferences. So how do we go about actually presenting in conferences? Like how do we, because it's very it's not a light thing. Some people have stage fright. To say, how do you also get your the participants' attention, like things that you need to consider in a way. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that, Lebogang. Your suggestion is indeed noted. Yes, thank you for that. And any other question? Okay, so with the absence of questions and comments, I think we will be able to conclude the session. Just a reminder to everyone to please complete the survey form that is on the chat box. And I will just post it again for the last time. Please remember to complete it so that we can get some insight on how you found this workshop. And I'll just give the last round of questions if you want to ask questions or comments, and if not, then we will close the session. I'll just give 2 minutes to. Okay, we have a hand up from Matimo again. You may unmute yourself, Matimo.
How are we going to get the slides? Are they going to be posted?
I will request Mr. Chauke to send me the slides, and then I will upload on our module community.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, so thank you everyone for attending this session, and most importantly, thank you, Mr. Chauke, for that very detailed and insightful presentation. We have really benefited a lot from this presentation, and we appreciate you honoring our invitation and giving the presentation. Thank you so much. And to all who have attended, thank you. Thank you very much for attending this session today.
Thank you, Koketso, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day too, and goodbye to everyone.